Little bit of news here. So, surprisingly, BMW has sold more electric cars than Audi and Mercedes combined in 2024. You've driven more BMW EVs than I have, and I'd imagine, based on your reviews, they're actually quite good, and same with the Minis as well. So, for some figures, BMW sold 300, well, just under 370,000 EVs worldwide, that is, and Audi sold 164, and Mercedes sold 185.
Mhm.
I haven't really touched the EVs from Mercedes or Audi, but considering the Audis are probably very related to the ID range in terms of the underpinnings, yeah, I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that?
So it's a weird one with Audi because they've got some brilliant cars out there, but they're not very efficient at all.
I've heard that.
And certainly when you look at the interiors and stuff, they haven't moved them on. Um, and it just feels like when you get into something like the Q8 e-tron,
Hmm.
which is a lovely car, like it really is a nice car, but it's you're going to get 2 miles to kilowatt or 2.5 miles to kilowatt.
Mm.
So that WLTP range looks hopeful at best,
Mm.
in my opinion. And then you look at the interior, and it's actually not really any different to the interior in an Audi 6, 7, 8 years ago. Not dramatically so, anyway.
Mm.
And you could look at it as it's not broke, so don't fix it. But it also doesn't feel like it's evolved massively. And they just feel a little bit like they've taken the engine out of something and stuck some EV running gear in. And I think with the I can't speak about Mercedes because I haven't driven any of their EVs for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But with BMW, I think they've got some real kind of ground up stuff
Mm.
that's amazingly good. And it does have a different feel to it. And they have made more significant changes. So I think if you were to go and get into a BMW and an Audi and take them both for a test drive, the Audi might be really familiar and great and classy and well put together, and you might love everything about it, but it feels like the one you drove 3 years ago.
Mm.
Where you get into the BMW and it feels like almost from a different generation. Not quite. That's
Mm.
a bit of an over exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. It feels like it's progressed a bit.
Mm.
I also think they've come out with more models. You know, there's more variation in the
Yeah.
electric BMW lineup than with Audi.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's loads, and especially with Mini as well.
Yeah, I
Because
mean that
yeah,
Mini is I mean, with an engine it's great. With as an electric car, it's almost perfect for a little hatch. It's absolutely brilliant.
yeah, because that figure I mentioned that doesn't include Mini or Rolls Royce.
Oh
Those are all on
wow,
the separate figures. Yeah. Because if I just remember rightly, because I did write this down,
the Mini numbers must be significant.
Mini also saw a massive increase from
Mm.
2023 to 2024, with 56,000 EVs sold worldwide, which
Hmm.
is up by 24%. So
Yep.
yeah, I haven't got the figures for Rolls Royce, but I imagine it's not massively high because of how expensive their
No.
Spectre EV is. But yeah,
Yeah, that's very impressive. Would you? What are your thoughts? Why do you think there's such a difference? Would you sort of concur with what I'm saying, or have you got a different take on it?
so I've only driven the i5, that was last year, and I
Mm.
drove a Mini electric briefly, and it was very very fun to drive.
Mm.
But I'd imagine they just probably taking it a bit more seriously.
Yeah,
And when a company takes EVs a bit more seriously, it pays off. Look at what Hyundai are doing.
yeah,
And whereas if it's just a side project for them, it doesn't really tend to work that well.
hmm
I'm not saying that EVs are a side project for Audi, but they're probably not that hopeful. I don't know. It
yeah. You
obviously,
don't feel like
yeah,
VW Group invested in EV early and were happy about it,
yeah, yeah, that's true.
um, where BMW obviously got a bit ahead in the sort of R&D side of things, and I think they came to market with stronger cars initially.
I mean, even something like the i3, you still see loads of them around,
Yeah,
and anyone who's I have never driven one, but anyone who's driven one is always raving about it, and that's a
yeah,
car from 12 years ago. So
yeah.
it's it's obviously something that they've been doing for a long time, and they know what they're doing really, and it's
To be
obviously
honest,
paid
if
off.
when I replaced the Me, if I hadn't have realised I could get a Tesla Model 3 for 10 quid a month, I was possibly going to get an i3S.
Yeah,
But the unfortunate thing that happened is the pricing, the used prices have gone up on i3Ss recently,
yes, yeah,
like fairly significantly as well. But that was the original plan. I thought I'd get one of those because, yeah, they seem to be bags of fun.
yeah. Especially for what the Me would do. It's the same sort of range, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.